There's a place you might have never heard of. A country where people eat with their hands, pray to mountain gods, and ride disco buses through jungle roads. A land with the purest coffee in the world, and oceans that hold more species of reef fish than anywhere else on Earth. This is Timor-Leste, one of the youngest, rawest, and most mysterious countries in the world. Are you ready to explore it with us? But before we dive in, let us know where you're from in the comments so we can send you a hello. Timor-Leste, or East Timor, as many still call it, is one of the youngest nations on Earth. It officially became independent in 2002, after a long history of colonization and occupation. It sits on the far eastern tip of the island of Timor, just north of Australia, hugging the Timor Sea. It's smaller than the state of Connecticut. The landscapes here are massive in feeling, from sky-piercing mountains to thick green forests and coastlines so quiet you can hear your thoughts breathe. The climate here only has two moods, dry and fiery or wet and wild. During the dry season from May to November, the sun can be relentless, high 90s Fahrenheit most days. But come the rainy season, the skies open up and the dirt roads become rivers. East Timor still carries traces of old Portugal. You'll see it in the colonial churches, the food, even the language. Portuguese is one of the official tongues here, though only about a third of the people speak it fluently. Most folks speak Tidum, a beautiful local language, mixed with a cocktail of Indonesian, English, and regional dialects. East Timor isn't the cheapest place in Asia, but it's also not expensive if you know how to live. Let's start with housing. An apartment in Dili, the capital, goes for around $500 to $600 a month. Clean, safe, nothing fancy. If you're after a spot with ocean views, maybe air conditioning and a Western-style kitchen, you'll be looking at something closer to $1,000 a month. Electricity and internet used to be almost free, but these days you'll pay about $180 to $230 a month, depending on how modern your setup is. Most of the restaurants import ingredients, which means a single meal out can run you $12 to $18. But if you learn to shop like the locals, you can eat well for about $300 a month. Taxis charge about $5 for a short ride, and they don't use meters, so be ready to negotiate. The local buses cost you about $30 to $40 a month. Timor is still developing in healthcare. You'll find private clinics in Dili. A visit might cost you $20 to $40. Basic care is improving fast, but for anything major, most expats fly to Bali or Darwin, Australia. It's a short hop and gives peace of mind. To live here comfortably, you'll budget around $1,500 to $2,000 a month. That's not rock bottom cheap, but it's still half of what you'd spend in the US, and in return, you get clean air, quiet nights, and a genuine connection to the people and the land. If you think you could live here with $2,000 a month, give this video a 1 in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. But beyond the money, what's it really like to wake up here? That's what we'll explore next. In East Timor, food isn't just about filling your belly. It's also about remembering who you are and where you come from. Tais, also known as tape, is a fermented dish made from rice or cassava. It has a gentle sweetness with just enough spice to keep you guessing. Sometimes it's served as a dessert. Other times it's transformed into a kind of rice wine for village gatherings. If you're a fan of bold flavors like kimchi or pickled mustard greens, try Tawai, tangy and always a conversation starter. Locals absolutely love it. Then there's sil, a Portuguese-influenced dish with a Timorese twist. Picture a light golden broth, rich and velvety with turmeric, coconut milk, curry leaves, and thinly sliced goat, chicken, or fresh fish. Add some greens and a spoonful of rice, and you've got a bowl that's both hearty and elegant in its simplicity. And bibinka, the national coconut cake. Crispy golden edges, a chewy soft center, and a smoky aroma from being baked over charcoal. Then there's fada, a hearty stew of black beans, pork sausage, and spices. It's a dish made for conversation, often served at festivals or family gatherings. Next, I'll take you to the Sacred Heart of Timorese culture, a place so important, not everyone is allowed in. Somewhere in the hills of East Timor, There's a house you'll never live in. It's called Lulik, which means sacred house in Tidom. At first glance, a tall, pointed roof made from wood and palm leaves, reaching up like a spear to the sky. Some of them stretch over 15 meters high, and they're built entirely by hand. Locals believe it's where the spirits of their ancestors reside. It's a place of protection, of blessings, of connection to everything that came before. Only a chosen few, usually elders, shamans, or clan leaders, are allowed to step inside. Not out of fear, but out of deep generational respect. This space isn't just sacred, it's alive, in a way you can't quite explain. In every village across Timor-Leste, there's at least one Lulik. During big festivals, people gather around it, dancing, singing, and telling stories passed down from their ancestors. The energy is real. It pulls you in, even if you don't speak the language. Next, we're taking you straight to the heart of East Timor's most unforgettable celebrations. But first, take 5 seconds to hit subscribe on channel and turn on notifications so you'll always be among the first to catch our newest and most exciting videos. There's something special that happens in East Timor once a year. It's called Timor Carnival, and if you happen to be here in February or March, you're in for something unforgettable. After centuries of colonization and conflict, this festival gives the Timorese people a chance to celebrate their identity, their independence, and their ancestors. You'll see men and women dressed in brilliant fabrics, their faces painted with symbols that go back generations. Some wear handcrafted wooden masks, while others move to samba beats that wouldn't feel out of place in Rio de Janeiro. Now, if you're more of a quiet soul, then you'll want to mark your calendar for the Ataro Culture and Music Festival. It's held on Ataro Island, just a short boat ride from Dili, and it's the kind of place where the sea meets silence and tradition. Imagine folk music played on hand-carved guitars and bronze gongs, soft voices singing old songs under the stars, and campfires flickering on the sand while children listen to their grandparents share stories from long ago. Ataro's festival is also deeply tied to nature. Locals organize beach cleanups, plant trees, and talk about protecting their coral reefs, some of the most biodiverse in the world. Which festival in this country impressed you the most? Feel free to share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Mornings here start slow. Locals sip strong, black coffee from chipped mugs at roadside cafes. There's no rush. No one's checking their watch. They're talking, laughing. Down by the shore, wooden boats glide across turquoise water, their sails like soft wings against the wind. Local fishermen toss handmade nets into the sea just 20 yards from the beach. No high-tech equipment, no fuss. Just rhythm, patience, and generations of know-how. In just 30 minutes, they catch what they need for the day, maybe enough to earn $10 or $15. And then they go home. They sit with their family. They live. No hustle. If you've got the time and the tide's just right, you can walk out 100 meters from shore when the water recedes. You'll find plump clams, sea cucumbers, even shiny shellfish peeking through the sand. It's like nature lays out a buffet just for those willing to wait. Markets here are alive with chatter. You'll see fresh vegetables, spices, and handmade baskets. Elderly women sell fish with a calmness you don't see in Western grocery stores. Next, we're going to talk about the women of East Timor, their strength, their beauty, and the quiet confidence that makes them unlike anyone else you've ever known. Women in Timor-Leste are a remarkable blend of quiet strength, cultural grace, and deep resilience. Typically petite with warm skin tones and dark features, they lead lives shaped by tradition, Catholic faith, and communal values. Rooted in customary practices, they uphold family and community responsibilities with unwavering dedication, often balancing roles as mothers, farmers, entrepreneurs, and cultural custodians. Though often reserved in speech and emotion, they possess a quiet dignity and inner fortitude, especially evident in rural areas where daily life remains physically demanding. Unlike their counterparts in more urbanized or Western settings, Timorese women are less individualistic and more community-oriented, valuing emotional restraint, familial loyalty, and mutual support. Despite traditional gender roles, many are becoming active in education, NGOs, and public service, emerging as natural leaders and agents of change. Their lives, while grounded in centuries-old customs, are steadily evolving, marked by a deep sense of identity, quiet leadership, and hope for a more equitable future. Next, we'll shift gears and take you on one of the most unpredictable parts of life here. Stay tuned. If you think transportation in East Timor is anything like what you've seen in Thailand, Vietnam, or Bali, well, buckle up. You're in for a wild ride. Here in Timor, the road isn't just a way to get from point A to point B, it's part of the adventure. In Dili, the streets are ruled by motorcycles, rickety bicycles, and these unforgettable brightly painted minibuses that double as rolling music festivals. They call them microlets. They're small, loud, and decorated like disco balls on wheels, covered in decals, flashing LED lights, and always playing upbeat music. And if you head out to the countryside, things get even more interesting. You'll see bicycles piled high with sacks of rice, or three-wheeled carts carrying everything from goats to bananas to entire market stalls. A dirt road after a rainstorm becomes a mud track that'll rattle your spine and your patience. Simple wooden bridges creak and sway as you cross. There's no gridlock here, no traffic tickets, no road rage. Just movement, color, sound, life. Next, we'll dive into the heart of the people themselves, how this tiny nation, though financially poor, is overflowing with generosity, grit, and a spirit that refuses to quit. East Timor is one of the poorest nations on Earth. Over 40% of the population lives below the poverty line. The economy still leans heavily on oil. There are no giant malls, no brand-name chains, no shiny high-rise apartments. East Timor may be financially poor, but it is rich in ways that catch you off guard. No fancy dinner parties, no reservations. Just a plastic chair, a strong cup of local coffee, and someone eager to share a story. You see, Timor spent centuries under foreign rule, first the Portuguese, then the Indonesians. They fought hard for their independence. It came at a cost. But they never gave up. Today, you still feel that fire in their spirit. It's quiet but strong. They have very little, yet they live with dignity, pride, and a kind of everyday courage that's hard to explain. There's another saying here, Howen Mat. It means, I do not know fear. It's not bravado, it's faith. A belief that no matter what, life moves forward. Next, we'll leave the hills behind and take you deep into the magic of the sea, where coral, whales, and wonder wait just offshore. Just 24 kilometers north of Dili, Ataro Island is part of the Coral Triangle, the richest marine ecosystem in the world. In 2016, scientists recorded something remarkable: over 643 species of reef fish in the waters around Ataro. Some species were completely new to science, not Bali, not the Maldives, not the Great Barrier Reef. In East Timor is the spot with the most reef fish diversity on the entire planet. The coral here glows like stained glass, orange, violet, teal. This is raw, wild nature, just a boat ride away. Whales, dolphins, sea turtles. They pass by not as a show, but as neighbors, moving with grace and silence through water still untouched by big industry. Locals here don't rush to monetize the sea. They respect it. Many believe the ocean is sacred, not just a source of food, but a living force that gives and takes as it pleases. Coming up next, we'll head inland to the cool highlands, where some of the purest organic coffee in the world is grown. Let's be honest, a lot of us can't start our day without a good cup of coffee. But here in East Timor, it's more than a morning routine. East Timorese coffee is some of the purest organic coffee in the world. It's grown high in the misty mountains, no chemicals. Just sunlight, rain, and soil. With this smooth chocolate-like finish that lingers in your mouth like a memory. Every bean is handpicked by people who've lived through war, hardship, and rebuilding. In rural areas, coffee is brewed in simple clay or aluminum pots, often over an open flame. The smell alone, smoky, rich, a little sweet, will stop you in your tracks. Most of the best beans from Timor are exported to the US and Europe. The locals? They usually drink cheaper blends, sometimes mixed with sugar or condensed milk. Next, we'll take a look at something surprising: East Timor's passport power, and what it could mean if you're thinking long-term or even planning to stay. East Timor holds one of the most powerful passports in Southeast Asia. Because of its colonial history and close ties to Portugal, Timorese citizens can travel visa-free to all Schengen countries, up to 3 months at a time. Right now, there's no official retirement visa in East Timor, but don't let that scare you off. There are still very real paths for long-term stay. You can land at Dili's International Airport or port and get a 30-day visa right at the border. You'll need to show proof of income, about $150 per day of your stay, plus a hotel booking or an invitation letter, and a return ticket or proof of onward travel. You can usually extend it another 30 days by visiting immigration in Dili. Some expats build community partnerships, invest in ecotourism, or volunteer with local schools or environmental groups. In return, they're granted temporary residence permits. Here, a handshake still matters. A neighbor's word carries weight. If the locals see that you're here to contribute, they'll vouch for you. Next, we'll head off the beaten path and uncover some of East Timor's most pristine, untouched destinations, from ancient churches to terraced rice fields, and one mountain that locals call closer to heaven. Let's start in the capital, Dili, where you'll find Motel Church, a weathered stone building with thick Gothic walls, arched windows, and stained glass that catches the afternoon sun just right. Head west, and you'll see something else: terraced rice fields that climb the hills like emerald staircases. But if you're looking for something that stays with you long after you leave, then you need to hike Mount Ramalau. Standing at nearly 3,000 meters, it's the highest point in East Timor. For the Timorese, Ramalau is sacred, a place of pilgrimage and prayer. At the summit, there's a statue of the Virgin Mary, arms outstretched overlooking the valleys below. There's one more piece of Timorese life that might just surprise you, one that goes back generations and says more about local culture than any guidebook ever could. In East Timor, they eat with their right hand only, because in the culture the left is considered unclean. The food, rice, grilled fish, corn stews, and leafy greens, is gently pinched together into small bites. You mix flavors at the fingertips. No utensils, no distractions. You feel the temperature of the food, the texture, the weight. Dishes like ikan sabuko, tamarind-marinated grilled fish, and fada, a hearty stew, are meant to be enjoyed by hand. That's how they've been eaten for generations. At family gatherings and traditional celebrations, everyone gathers around one big platter. No one's reaching for a separate plate or hurry. It's a story about sharing, not just food, but time, stories, and laughter. And next we'll wrap this journey up with something that represents the heart of East Timorese identity. Tais is a traditional hand-woven fabric made from cotton, dyed with natural materials, and crafted entirely by hand. Every thread has meaning. Every pattern tells a story about where you're from, who your people are, what tribe you belong to, and what traditions you honor. If you ever make it to Dili, don't miss Tais Market. You'll walk in and see rows of woven fabric, each more colorful than the last, hanging from ceilings, draped across tables, fluttering in the breeze like flags of memory. Some pieces take weeks to make. Artisans, many of them older women, will gladly share the stories behind their patterns. They'll tell you about their grandmother's technique, their village's colors, or how certain symbols represent fertility, protection, or even war and peace. Men often wear tais manas, wrapped around the waist or worn like a shawl. Women wear tais feto, beautifully draped, hugging the body with elegance and pride. But it's not just for clothing. At the market, you'll also find bags, wall hangings, belts, table runners, even bookmarks made from Tais. Perfect souvenirs, but even better stories to bring home. We've explored 15 amazing facts about this incredible country. If you enjoyed the video about Timor-Leste, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Your support is the driving force that helps us continuously improve and bring you even more engaging content. Thank you, and see you in our next travel documentary.